Hello, hello, hello. Hi guys, this is Meleah with Mustard Tree Market. Thanks for popping on and hanging out with me today. I am going to be painting, oh thank you Bambi. I'm going to be painting some fabric today. And I know a lot of people ask about fabric. Hey, from Germany. And I'm going to paint some. From far away, this looks like it's in great condition. I get that. But up close, it's really not. So when you look closely, it's kind of ugly. And it's got some spots on it and stuff. Some little bit of staining. So it needs a little bit of freshening up. And I like to make mine look like kind of Anthropologie Home looking. Lots of brilliant colors, and I just like that look. So this may end up being going with a vanity I do. It may end up being here, I don't know. I might sell it by itself. That's always a possibility. These chairs are fun, accent chairs, and a lot of times people will just buy them for that. So my plan is on the wood part of this, I'm going to paint with Dixie Belle's Evergreen, which is a true like kind of grassy green. I love this color. What material is it? It's kind of, the stripes of it are kind of satiny. And then this is just like regular typical chair upholstery, this middle part, and the stripes are kind of satiny. So it might take a little different on those spots, and that's fine. It's as a light color, which is a great color to be able to paint anything. I've painted different colors of fabric before, and it is always easier because you have to take into account the fabric color underneath if you're going to paint certain colors. So this is a nice one because I can do kind of whatever I want with it since it is a neutral color. But the evergreen's going to go around on the wood. I'm going to use the Gulf on the fabric. Okay, I know that sounds kind of funny, but I promise it'll be really pretty. I don't know how I'm spilling this everywhere. But look, see how cool that looks? It's pretty, right? Super pretty. And then, geez, I'm trying not to get paint on me on my sweater today. But then I'm thinking of the new silkscreen stencils. I like the mosaic, and I'm kind of thinking something of these is gonna go maybe right here. And maybe on the top, maybe right there, something. Look at me, look what I'm doing. Oh my gosh, I'm getting green paint. Well, I'm painting her now, if I ever wasn't. But I'm thinking some sort of stencil, one of these little doodaddies of some sort. This one comes with 3 different ones in there, and look at all the little different designs. I could use these for so many different ways on this. I kind of like these too, these kind of paisley looking deals. I like those too, so maybe I'll use some of those. That's kind of pretty, and put some on there. That's kind of my thought. And the back of this is also upholstered, so I'm gonna have to do the back of it too. That's the thought process. That's where I think I'm gonna go with this. So that's where I'm headed. I'm gonna try to tilt this down on this box here so you guys can see better what I'm doing. Can't believe I just got evergreen on that. Psh. Go figure. You see good on that? Yeah, that's pretty good view, right? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start. And I'm going to use the oval small. The oval, I like the big fat oval. The big fat round one or big fat oval one, actually. The best for this. But I believe they're dirty. No surprise. So I'm doing with what I have, but I definitely like a round fat brush. Look in the world, how in the world did I get evergreen paint just everywhere? Like that 1 second. Okay, so I'm gonna open up my Gulf. Sometimes when you open up your jars of paint, there's like a film on top. And if so, just pull that film off because that's protecting your paint. This did not have that. Jeez Louise. But It got kind of cold down here, so I'm going to shake it up really good just to make sure that's got all mixed uppity. There we go. Look at this color, guys. Look at the gulf. It's so pretty. Any prep before the paint? Joanne, good question. No, well, when I got this chair, I did spray it with disinfectant first to kill all the Rona. And then I went in with just some vinegar and water on a rag and just kind of wiped outside of all these little holes, which there's still some lint and stuff in them. But you just kind of want to get there's still some I missed there. So I just take a little bit of vinegar, water. I just clear out any of the like lint inside of these little nooks. I guess I'm not going to do that part first anyway, but yeah, so you want to make sure there's not like, you know, dog hair and lint inside of their little holes. And then I use white lightning on the wood part to clean the wood part. White lightning, clean it really good. Then I rinse it with vinegar and water. You must rinse off your white lightning, guys. Super important, because white lightning will make your paint not want to stick. It's super strong cleanup. Get all the cracks though. I clearly didn't do a very good job. Well, I do have a just turned 5-year-old. You probably sat on this chair and ate crackers. That's highly a likely scenario. But that's all you have to do. And you don't even have to clean it off with vinegar and water. I just do that it helps pull the lint out, is the whole point of that. It just helps like kind of grab the lint out of the little tufts. And then I sprayed it with disinfectant just to kill any Rona. Yes, white lightning is the best thing for cleaning your pieces by far. I would not put it on fabric though. Fabric, you just want to get the lint and stuff off. Yeah. So, the first thing I do when I'm painting fabric is I get the fabric wet. Now, I'm not talking like wet. I shouldn't even use the word wet. I like to mist it and get the top of it damp. Okay? I'm not trying to saturate the cushion. Okay? But I want to make sure that the top of it is completely damp, if that makes sense. It's going to help your paint move. This is also why you paint the cushion before you paint the surrounding parts, okay? Always paint your fabric before you paint the wood, because this would ruin my paint job, right? Or would make it not very good. So, areas like that, take the little fat rolls, that's what I call them. That's probably not appropriate. But get inside the fat rolls so that you don't have paint that's like gets dry stuck in there and makes it darker or something, you know what I mean? But this is a fine mist spray bottle that Dixie Belle carries. This is not a power washer. This is not giving you even a normal dose of water like a squirt bottle would. It is just a fine mist. So I'm not going to have like a major saturated cushion, okay? Just the top layer. I doubt that the cushion underneath of this is wet at all right now. It's just the top layer, okay? All right, so I'm going to try it, start this out. And if you have questions, Dixie Belle's on here. Anna can always come back in. I will come back in and answer anything you have, okay? So then I wet my brush. It's making a hot mess over here, to be honest. Kind of messy job. Get your brush all nice and wet. Lay out a shop towel. And then my motto is you can always add more paint, right? So I just get a little dabble do ya. And I may add more, but you just don't know how well it's going to take. So this is taking really good. Again, it's a light color, so that's ideal. If you're really wanting to look for a piece to paint fabric and make a funky, cool chair, if you find one with like, you know, ivory or gold or brown or, you know, something that's a lighter color, that's going to be the best. Because like when I painted, if you guys watched me paint my couch, I painted that vintage couch. I painted it like 12 colors before I decided on my color because the couch was originally like a blue. Kind of like a Yankee blue was like the color of the fabric, and it had gold flowers on it. And so everything I painted just really did not show up like a bold, pretty color like I wanted to. And I ended up going with plum because of the way that it looked on the fabric. So if you're going to attempt fabric painting for the first time, I would recommend not trying it with a piece that has a bold colored fabric to start with. Okay? And see how you're kind of just working it in? Okay? Getting in all the fat rolls. I'm going to just keep calling them that because I started calling them that. So get inside a little button crevice. And I don't really worry about the wood because when I'm done painting it, I'll just take some vinegar water or white lightning, kind of wipe it across that, and it'll just wipe right back if I get it right away. Because this is like very little paint. I'm not painting it. There's actually not that much paint on my brush. But when you use less paint and kind of move it across fast, then you don't have like heavy deposits like that, which I still may want that. Well, that's really taking really nice. So just kind of consider the under color, like your actual color of your fabric. Think about it mixed with the color of paint because it's almost going to be like that. So the gulf mixed with kind of this like gold color makes a really pretty color. It does change the color slightly, but I could keep it going more the color of the gulf by continuing to add layers of paint. So when I first started painting fabric, I did try watering down the paint, okay? That was my original way of doing it. I had heard to do it is water down the paint and put on watered down paint. I found after I started doing it for a while and I did this ginormous couch, that just made me have to do more layers, and it didn't really make my paint less stiff. So, and I found I wasted a lot of paint that way. Especially because there's a fair chance when you start painting your fabric that you might change your mind when you see it on your fabric. So you might test it out in a little inconspicuous spot first if you're having a colored fabric that you're going over. But I found that just putting a tiny amount on my brush, okay, and then misting it, and then having my fabric already misted, and then kind of applying it really loosely like that so I can work it in. So not like doing a strong stripe because then it's like a heavier deposit there. I found that worked just as good as going in with a watered down paint. And in fact, I liked it better because I felt like it was easier than having to like go in with more layers and more layers. That's probably not enough paint that I just did. And not enough water. There we go. But you kind of use a light hand to initially deposit the paint on the fabric, and then use a heavy hand when you're like scrubbing it in. And you're basically scrubbing it. That's kind of the best word to describe it. And people paint fabric different ways. So if you've seen somebody do it a different way, it doesn't mean that's right or wrong or mine's right or wrong. It's just like anything else. Everybody's got methods. There's just some things you want to make sure to stick to. And some things that don't super matter. So I kind of like a little bit of that gold popping through. I don't know if you guys can see that. Ugh. See if you can see. It's kind of interesting, right? On these like silky satin stripes, the color took less and it kind of leaves that through. So I don't know, I might stick with that look and I might not. I might just keep going until it's a really heavy deposit. Who is this, please? First time watching her. Hey, Pamela, welcome, and thanks for watching. My name is Meleah. I don't even know if I said that in the beginning. Oh my gosh. My name is Meleah Klein, and I am the creator and coach over here at Mustard Tree Market. That's my business name. You can follow my page. And I'm a brand ambassador for Dixie Belle Paint. So I come on here every Monday for Mondays with Meleah at the same time. Thanks, Dixie Belle. You guys, I'm the luckiest person in the world. I get to do what I love for a living, and it's amazing. This is our soul family business. So I super enjoy you guys coming on here, hanging out with me, especially when your first time viewing. That's so much fun. We have the best people ever. That makes me excited. Literally, the people that are watching with you, these are my best friends. It's true. It's not even a joke. And they're the best support team. And if you're looking for a place to be, Pamela, go on to the Chalk Mineral Paint Enthusiast group, which I'll have a link up in the title of my live when I get off here. And join us there. All the ambassadors, we all post all of our work there. And there's all kinds of people that do amazing things there. And post them and answer questions and such. So it's a great community to be in. And definitely go over to my page, Mustard Tree Market, and follow me if you would like. And I have all kinds of fun stuff on there. I don't usually paint fabric. It's not like something I do all the time. But I tell you what, if you guys follow me, you know that I have a small obsession with like upholstered vintage chairs. I love them, painted in crazy cool colors, and I love the way that they look. It's so cool and trendy and neat, and I would love to have a kitchen table with like every chair being different and all the colors of the rainbow would be beautiful. My husband might cringe. He lets me do almost everything, but that's probably where he would draw the line. But I do have my vanity chair that I did recently on here. It's beautiful. I've got another little powder room chair that I did. And then I found a really cool sitting chair that I did. Hot pink with like a turquoise or teal fabric. And that fabric was so beautiful I didn't touch it. But even if this was in perfect condition fabric, which it's in pretty good condition, it's just not, I don't like it anyways. I don't do neutrals well. It's just me. And I know a lot of you guys ask about, I hope you can hear me. I'll try to pull you guys up a little bit more in case you can't hear me well. So I know a lot of you guys ask about how do things that are painted bright colors sell? That's a common question that we get, okay? And I can tell you that it takes time to, you have to kind of train your audience, train your buyer and your customer base. So I painted, when I started out, I'll just tell a story, why not? I started out painting mostly tables and chairs. Pretty much all tables and chairs. And I painted mostly black and white and gray. And I wanted to paint color. I saw another artist doing it. I thought it was so cool. So once I did it, I was hooked and I wanted to paint color. And I know a lot of you guys want that. But you want stuff to sell because that's the point, right? But I started out by doing like what I would say colors that appear naturally outside, okay? Because then I convinced people that that was neutral. Because to me it is. So I started out with like yellow, like a pastel yellow. I would do some greens. Most people would kind of go for like a mint green because a lot of people are used to seeing that from like the 40s, 50s, 60s. Olive greens. Blues, like vintage duck egg, like some sky blues. To me, I was like, those are still neutral, guys. Those go everywhere. God put them out on the sky and the earth and the trees, so clearly they match everything, right? This is my logic. That was my logic. And so that's where I started. And then once I got people to start understanding that that was neutral, then I started popping in some other colors. But I definitely started more of the pastels. I felt like that was an easier transition. Like, I went to like the blush tones, you know, the tea roses and such, apricots. And when people wanted custom work for me, I would say, well, if you wanted black, or I wouldn't say this, but if they wanted black, white, or gray, I charged more for that. Even though it was one color and simple, I charged more because I want to be getting paid for doing what I love, right? So to me, if they wanted me to just have artistic freedom or they wanted something brighter, colorful that I would love doing, I charged less to encourage that kind of work. If they wanted white or black or gray, I charged more. I now charge literally almost double, and I say no to most of it. Because I want to be doing what I'm doing. And if I'm doing something I don't enjoy doing, or I don't love, or that's not entertaining to watch for you guys, I need to be getting paid a lot of money to do it. Does that make sense? And it's funny because then you're also posting on all your platforms colorful work, right? So people start to realize and follow you that like colorful work. And then those are the people that end up hiring you. Like, people aren't going to go to my page or my website and be like, this girl just really makes the most beautiful white pieces ever. They're not even going to find anything white. And so when they go to my page or my website, they are going to call me when they want colorful pieces, right? And if somebody says they want something black, I just did a black piece, and she's a longtime customer of mine, and I painted it a blend of different blacks. Sometimes I'll add a little brown in. It still appears black from far away, but it's different shades of blacks. And it looks more interesting. It has depth. It has dimension. And she loves it. She loves it. So the customers, they don't know to ask for multiple shades of black. They just know they want it black, or they know they want it all one color pink. Well, then you show them, you know, hey, here's these 3 pinks. Together they will look like the most beautiful dimensional pink. And they love it. So you kind of got to like train your buyers. Your clients. That's my speech for the day. That's my story. All right, let's see if I got questions. I love color pieces too. Yes, Rachel. Question for you. You can replay to me later, PM. Do you take on or turn down refinish pieces or even tops of dressers? And redone. That's stuff my favorite. If you, I think what you're asking, BMB, is that do I turn down pieces? Thank you, Therese. Do I turn down pieces that have already been painted and paint over them again? Sure. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. Of course, I don't prefer it. I would always love to paint wood because I oftentimes paint with a dry brush and I like some of the wood popping, even if it's just little pieces. But yeah, I will totally paint over painted pieces. I painted over latex pieces, chalk painted pieces. Latex is something that if you can stay away from it, you know, I would. but it definitely can be done. I did it on a piece right behind me. But depending on the latex and stuff, there's sometimes it's one you'll want to peel back and such. So if you're just starting out and you want to avoid certain pieces, stay away from stuff that's latex. You can tell it's got very rubbery finish. You can usually peel it back with your fingernail. But any other kind of paint, I don't even care. And I do paint over that as well. But yeah, I don't care. If it's slick, if it's super slippery, you can use Slick Stick. I don't strip stuff. It's not my thing. So I don't strip paint. Well, I don't strip it anyway, but I don't strip paint for sure. I really like the way that this is coloring this fabric. And you're kind of making the paint, it's almost like a dye. I'm really, really liking that. So I'm kind of re-wetting where it's kind of sat a little bit and dried. Re-wetting my brush. Getting a little bit more paint. Make sure to get in the fat rolls. But you guys, it's super easy. I know it seems intimidating to paint fabric, but it's really not. Don't overthink it. I overthought it big time. The first big piece I did, I was definitely overthinking it. And I was making like all different types of paint washes, and at the end of the day, this was just as easy, just to go on in with a paintbrush and some paint that gets your surface super damp. Get your brush super wet. Spray the paint as you go. Just keep it moving. And yeah, you typically would go in and paint. I mean, it's up to you, but you can typically, I would go in with at least another coat or two. Most of the time, I think I've usually done like 3 coats, if I recall. My sofa was the craziest project ever, but a 3 coat will get you to a much stronger color dose. But if you really like the way that the fabric pops through, then you don't have to do that many. You could do 1 or 2. I mean, it looks pretty this way too. It kind of almost has a holy guacamole tint to it, doesn't it? A little bit of an olive tone when you add that gold underneath that turquoise color. It definitely kind of has the holy guacamole color. And then I know you're all probably wondering, how is she going to seal that? There's different ways. You can use easy peasy spray wax. And if you're trying to get like a softer fabric when you're done, easy peasy spray wax would be your jam. But I do like best stain wax for sealing fabric. It will give you a little bit more of a soft, kind of suede-y leather feel to your fabric. If that makes sense. It will kind of give you that like kind of a softer leathery kind of feel, but like a soft leather. But I kind of like it. And you can sand with a very fine sanding sponge, like a 200 or more grit sanding sponge between coats of paint to keep it softest. So you would let this dry, sand it, spray wax, next coat, let it dry, sand it, spray wax it. And at the very end, I'm going to use Best Stain Wax. Because I don't care if this kind of chair has a little bit of a soft leather feel. I like the way it looks. I just like it. I think it looks pretty. Yeah. But this paint, honestly, Dixie Belle paint does not come off fabric. And technically, it's going to be on there if you do nothing to it. But I would recommend sealing in some way with some sort of wax, either spray or Best Stain. But if you don't, it won't go anywhere. It's just going to give you a nicer soft finish. The sanding is going to help give those top little fibers a little soft edge so it feels soft to the touch. But you got to be careful with your fabric. Make sure you're using a really fine sanding sponge, or like the rad pads on the very super fine or whatever. That would be ideal. You don't like, you know, want super fine. Look how pretty that is, guys. Look how pretty. That's pretty, right? You gotta fix that edge, huh? So pretty, right? So you spray wax between coats. Yes. Yes. What is spray wax? It's a Dixie Belle product. La la la. What is spray wax? Okay, so spray wax is a water-based wax that Dixie Belle carries. It's called Easy Peasy Spray Wax. It is great for fabrics. And I would, yes, I'll let this dry. Then I will use a super fine sanding sponge, or sanding, like a rad pad. Super, like 300 grit would be amazing, 200 grit. And I will just lightly go over the top of this to soften it up. And then I will spray it with Easy Peasy Spray Wax to seal it up. Go to the next layer. And then my final layer, I will do the Best Stain Wax in clear, because it will give me the finish I like. Now, it will make it a little bit harder if you use that wax. Easy Peasy Spray Wax will keep it as soft as it can be for painted fabric, whereas the Best Stain Wax kind of gets a little bit of a soft, kind of suede-y leather feel, which I still think is great, especially for chairs like this. This is so pretty. Make sure you get in all your little cracks and crevices. I might take some Woodjebin trim and put that here. I don't know. Woodjebin trim looks really pretty around chairs right there. It looks really, really pretty if you're trying to spice up your chair. And see, if I take just a wet shop towel, some vinegar and water, will wipe, or just water, I mean, we'll wipe that overspray, I call it, right off. Super easy. That's why you want to paint your fabric first. And then, you know how hard it is. I'm so ADHD, I just want to go in and paint the wood before I'm even halfway done with the fabric. I'm notorious for that. I'll just start painting, and then I'll just stencil, and I'll just be done with this little chunk of the chair, and then I won't want to do any more. So don't do that. But this is going to be so pretty against this. See? So pretty. And then I've got to decide what color I'm going to do for my silkscreen stencil. I'll have to decide. I really like these little paisley guys. I really like that. I love the silkscreen stencils. If you guys haven't tried these are phenomenal. And there's 3 in a package. I'll take a little break from that. Let it dry a little bit. It's getting boring probably to watch, but let's just show you these real quick. So you guys can help me decide. Yeah, I got a little time. All right, so silkscreen stencils are not like regular stencils. They're silkscreen. They come with this little tool to apply the paint. No paint will come off on your clothes once it's dry. Think about it. When you get it on your clothes or on your apron, you wash it, it doesn't come off, does it? Nope, not at all. Not at all. Okay, so here's the 3 stencils that are silkscreen. But I would still seal it. So these are just one package. There's all different ones, but this one is the Mosaic. And I'm kind of really liking these paisleys. I don't know if that's what you call those. They remind me of paisleys. I'd originally thought of those, but they kind of look... I don't know. I really like these little paisley guys. What do you guys think? Because I could almost do like a boot to boo. And a boot to boo. Is that the right way? Be backwards, wouldn't it? I don't know. I like those. I like all these. Actually, I really like this one too. This reminds me of stained glass a lot. Look at that one. Really reminds me of like stained glass or something. But look at how these are. So these have a sticky back. You can reuse each one of these for like 10 plus-ish times before the sticky runs out. See how it's see-through? That's like a silky screen. See? What that does is it makes it when you paint, when you add the paint onto the silkscreen stencil, it makes the most precise lines. It prevents the sliding underneath and messing up that stencils do, you know. It makes a really clean, almost a little bit of a raised texture of a stencil. And it actually has a little bit of that texture from the silk. And then you just immediately put it in water. So have like a baking dish of water beside you that you can just drop it in before you go, so that you don't want the paint to sit on that silk because it'll start to dye that fabric, you know, and get gunky. So I think that's what I'm going to use. What do you guys think? And on top of that green, part of me wants to go like oranges and reds. That's always where I go. Would you have individually cut the stencil pieces? Jennifer, I probably will. Because I do that. I cut them up. You don't have to. Most people don't. I don't know that anybody else does. But I would. So that I could drop one down in the water and then use a different one, you know. Because I don't want to leave it sitting on there and go to the next one and do it and let that one dry. So then I could just drop it in there. Orange would be so pretty. Rachel, I kind of think so too. Like some oranges, some terracottas, yellow. Ooh, yellow would be pretty. Yellow would be pretty. Yeah, I'm kind of feeling the same thing that you guys are. Thinking that is a good idea. I can't really do much more. I can start another. I'm running out of time anyways. Okay. It's been 45 minutes. This will be on here. I'll probably do something cool inside of these little groovies. Either with the gemstone mousse or the new gilding waxes or chameleon waxes. Chameleon wax could be really pretty. I'll probably do that. I'll probably use some I'll do something really pretty inside of these little groovies. And yeah, and do maybe something stencil. So, watch my page if you want to see the rest of this. It's going to go all the way. It's going to be really cool. And I encourage you, if you want to try a bright colored something, a cool, funky chair can sell because people can look at it as like a neat little chair for their vanity or to put in a corner. And yeah, I think that's a good, if you want to kind of go something funky, chairs like that can sell because people do some funky, weird, cool, and more feminine themes, especially with their vanities. So it's great to pair with vanities. You're so welcome. Apricot Chameleon. Ooh, I do love the Apricot Chameleon. It's probably my favorite. We know how I love apricot. So I love the minty green. Me too. It turned out super minty, right? So that's what happens when I put the Gulf, which is not at all minty. This is very much like, I don't know, a golfy color of bluish. It's kind of turquoise. It's pretty turquoise. But on this gold, it definitely kind of has hints of Holy Guacamole in the stripes and kind of a mint julep look on the rest. So it definitely depends on what you're putting it on. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you have more questions, message me at Mustard Tree Market or put it in here and tag me and I'll come back and look. And yes, if you want to see the rest of it, follow me over there. Thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful, wonderful day. And first time watching, thank you, Jamie. Come back again. All right, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.